Kevin Osborne. I'm the Manager of Communications at East Kentucky Power, and I want to introduce our keynote speaker. His name is Don McNay. He is the chairman of the McNay's Settlement Group. He is a distinguished alumni from Eastern Kentucky University. He writes for the Huffington Post. I go there all the time and read the Huffington Post and have been a fan of Don for a long time. He is the CEO of RRP International Publishing, which is publishing all kinds of books. He himself has written 7 best-selling books, including a book called Brand New Man, and it's a topic he's going to talk about here in just a few minutes. He's lost more than 100 pounds, and above and beyond all that, he's been a good friend of mine for 25 years. I'm really proud of him, and he's a fantastic person. Please welcome Don McNay.
Thank you. And so it's a great honor to be here. As Kevin noted, we've been friends for a long time. In fact, we've been friends for so long that we both had hair when we met. So take a look. So just like the song, which is my intro song, the Brooks and Dunn, Brand New Man, it's also the title of the book. I've lost 106 pounds since December and we have the book coming out in January, and you have a card at your table, and tells you a little bit about it, and you'll get a 15% discount on it when it does come out, just for being here today. So, Sherry noted that a lot of great things happen in Kentucky, and a lot of great things happen in Rupp Arena. And one of the best and worst moments of my life happened there. A friend of mine gave my wife and I tickets to a University of Kentucky basketball game. We are in the very first row of the stands in the center court, the very best seats in the house. The governor of Kentucky's 10 rows behind me. You don't get any better than this. It's the day that any University of Kentucky basketball fan dreams of, and I could not fit in the seat. Turns out, seats near the court, this is something you can know if you ever get these kind of seats. The seats near the court are much smaller than the ones higher up in the stands. They cram more seats in that way, so they're tighter. And at the time, my waist was 62-inch round. I weighed 377 pounds. And I couldn't sit down. And Tony talked a little bit earlier about obesity and what it can do to the body, and life expectancy, and strokes, and a heart attack, and diabetes, and all those things that can happen, and how you're more likely to die. Since I've never died or really ever had any kind of major injuries before, the medical stuff didn't really connect. But the day you get front row tickets in Rupp Arena, and you can't sit in those incredible seats that people pay thousands of dollars for, today you recognize that your life is completely and totally out of control. And it was also the day that I knew my morbid obesity was going to end, or I was going to die trying. Made it through the game. I wedged myself kind of like sideways into the seats and crammed myself up against my wife. Couldn't cheer. I couldn't stand up. There's people standing up. I couldn't enjoy the game, but I survived with a really miserable experience. And then it took 2 years figuring out what to do and how to do it, and part of that planning is in the book, and it's a very detailed, almost like a business plan on how to lose that much weight. And it's going to take me another 2 years to get to my ideal goal weight, but I'm less than a year into it and 100 pounds lighter. So it's going to happen. Because like all plans, they're successful. I have a goal, I have a plan, and I have a willingness to do whatever it takes to get here. Kevin mentioned a little bit about what I do, but my primary career is helping people who receive large sums of money. People like injury victims, lottery winners. I've written a number of books on lottery winners, and I've been in media all over the world. And in 70% of people who get a large sum of money run through it all in 5 years or less. No one can ever understand how somebody can run through $100 million in 5 years or less, and it happens all the time. But the same psychology happens So lottery winners holds true with people that are losing weight. It suddenly occurred to me one day that the same 5 things I would tell a lottery winner are the same 5 things I would tell someone trying to lose weight. Now, first thing would be, spend a few days and figure out what you want to do and why you want to do it. Develop a strategy. Just saying that, oh, I want to fit into my new clothes, that's not really a goal. That's a byproduct of a goal. That's a result of a goal. I'm thrilled that I can sit in any seat in any arena. It was a big day for me. I could sit in the coach seat in an airline and buckle the things and without asking for a seatbelt extender. But my main thing was to live a normal life. Like what you all are doing, I walk. I start off, walking from here to the door would have been a big experience for me, but now I walk at least 5 miles a day. I've walked as much as 15 miles in a day. I run in from 4 or 5K races, including one last weekend, but I don't really run. I don't care if I come in. The picture you have there, I was one of the last place finishers in the first 5K that I did, but I was just thrilled to make it. And the thing is, I don't really care if I win or lose. I just want to be out there doing it. And that's what you have to do is, there's a competitive aspect, and that'll make you lose weight. What you're doing here today will make you do it in the short run. But what we're looking for is to take those habits and do it long run. Because good health means a lot of life changes. Has anyone noticed that the profits from McDonald's has gone down in the last year? Anybody see that in the news? It's not an accident that it started dropping right about the time I went on my weight loss program. I think I was eating enough to keep the whole chain going, but they miss me there, they really do. But I had to get away from that. I haven't had a soft drink, diet or otherwise, since November, and that was harder to people to get off major addictive drugs. Did not have as hard a time as I did giving up my soft drinks, but I still miss them, but I recognized they weren't good for me. Second thing I did, and I see you have a lot of people out here wanting to help you today, talk to them. Because what I did is I put together a dream team, what I would call of advisors, experts, dietitian. Fortunate through my work and through my being in the media for so long that I had access to a lot of really good people. And I talked to them all the time. I brought my dietitian out with me to watch me eat dinner one night just to see how this would work. And first time I went in a restaurant, took her with me. I do the same thing with people who win the lottery. Find an advisor who's walked the walk, who's been there. I always tell people, if you get 100 million, there's someone out there who's handled 150 million before. Find them. So find somebody that's good, and you're going to be more successful if you have someone out helping you who's been there, who understands it, who understands the nuances if you have a bad day, but also someone that keeps you accountable. For the first 3 or 4 months, I wrote a daily report, and I sent it out to everybody, including like my family and friends. Included my weight, my blood pressure, my blood sugar. I had diabetes before I started the weight loss. I don't have it now. And that was a huge step forward for me. And but all those little nuances just to keep myself accountable. Each morning I get up and I track everything. And it's the first thing I do. The biggest thing I tell lottery winners or injury people or entertainers or professional athletes or anybody who gets a large sum of money, watch it. It's always going to be the family and friends who do them in. And my father always said, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And if you have friends that are trying to take advantage of you or trying to take your money or trying to get you to buy cocaine or everything else, you're going to blow through all your money. I don't care how much you have. Dieting. You have friends and family are pushing you. Go ahead, you can have that one. You can have an extra beer. One more is not going to hurt you. Here's a piece of cake. Here's a little extra this. Here's a little extra that. You're going to fall off the wagon. And so the family and your friends, the peer pressure eventually does you in. One is to eventually have very set and organized systems. But the other thing I sat down with each of my family members and every one of my employees, and Adam Turner, my executive director, back here today, and he's already a healthy guy who wins these races that we run in, but he's lost 20 pounds. Every person around me has lost 20 pounds or more this year. And I didn't say, hey, you need to go on a diet. Didn't go to my family or my friend, but everybody did it on their own. And part of it, I think they did it to help me, to encourage me, and it helped keep me in line. Good role model inspires other people, and a bad role model can bring a group down. And I'm a very strong-willed man, but I'm glad, I probably have the willpower to always push back that extra piece of cake or whatever else. But I'm really glad nobody's ever offering me one. Just if you can keep that temptation out of your life, they call it environmental control in the diet world, the happier you're going to be. Fourth thing is, think long term. Let's go back to my lottery winners. 98% of people, if you ever win the lottery, one call, I'll walk you through it. The second thing, I don't care if it's midnight, just call. And the second thing is, don't take the lump sum. 98% of people who win the lottery take the lump sum payment. And 70% of them, or more, I really think the number is more like 90, but some lawyer out in Oregon started criticizing my books, and so he has this 70 number, I go with it. But I tell people to take the payments over time. And same holds true with weight loss. And I'm glad you guys are doing this push and you're having this competition and everything else. And originally my goal was to lose 175 pounds in 18 months. And the original title for my book was going to be Project 199, because that's what meant 175-pound weight loss for me. And I'm probably on pace to do that, but I'm not thinking like that anymore, because I'm a lot more concerned about where I'm going to be in 18 years instead of 18 months. And so I'm thinking long-term, because I want all my habits to change and change them permanently. And each time you change a habit permanently, you're creating that basis for long-term health. And I think Tony said this earlier, 95% of people who lose weight gain it back in 5 years. If you want to, get it off long-term, you got to be thinking more in 5-year terms instead of 5-week terms. So I see people you can lose lots of weight by doing silly things like just eating grapefruit all day or something like that. Try not to change to do short-term changes. Do something that's going to be a long-term, like giving up soft drinks. Hard, complicated, painful, but it's something I plan on never having one again. And I think that's ultimately going to be healthy. And my final piece of advice is I always tell people with big money, the happiest billionaires are the ones that take that money and give back. You look at Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, they're taking the money that they've made and they're spending it in this lifetime to try to make a difference in society. And if you look at people like Rockefeller and Carnegie, they did that in the last century. And one of the things that's helped me through this process, as Kevin said, I write for Huffington Post. I had a syndicated column. I've written all these books. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on every social media you can ever imagine. Just pick one, you'll find me on it. And I have been extremely candid about what I'm doing from day one. And until October of last year, I would never tell anybody my weight. My wife did not know how much I weighed. And so I would not. My doctor was the only person who knew, and I was not being real about it because I was in a state of denial and I was not accountable. So once I started that accountability, once I could tell the world I weighed 377 pounds, then it made it easier for me to get my arms around it. And it also put me out, it also put a little extra pressure. I'm standing up in front of you telling I'm a role model for losing weight. I can't run through the drive-thru on the way out of here. And so being public and being upfront about it's helped make me a role model. But it's also, a lot of people are sort of following in my footsteps. There's people around me, people I don't even know, are starting to read things, and they're doing something about their weight. And it's also, my theory has always been that you don't have to be a public figure to be an accountable to be accountable. You don't have to be a public figure to be a role model. Every person here in this room or in any room has someone out there watching them. They have their family, they have their friends, their neighbors, their coworkers. And if you are living your life in a way that inspires them or interests them, or if you're just living your life in a way that you're proud of, you'll be amazed how many people that are eventually going to follow your lead. So if you're doing something about your health, if you're out there walking every day, I purposely walk a path where a lot of people see me in Lexington, and you can't help it. Fine. People see me out walking all the time. And it's good, but you'd be amazed how many people call me up and say, hey, can I come walking with you now? And you're starting to change that dynamic of people around you. And as much as you can do this for yourself, if you can do it for other people, and you can help the people around you become healthier and live healthier lives, then you're really doing something. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's been fun. It's been great. And I'm looking forward to seeing all your results, and hope that eventually that all you are brand new people too. Thank you.